myself in delay. Anyway, hello friends, hello there. I'm another Magento dev. Welcome to this live stream. So today's live stream is gonna involve me getting into the code, which is always a joy for me, and I know it's probably a massive joy, a point of joy in the day for you guys as well. So I'm going to get in the code today, and I'm going to be looking at the product description page. I'm going to be looking at it through the lens, as always, or it seems to be as always, because it seems I have an unhealthy obsession with it, which is the which is from a page speed perspective. So, mobile page speed perspective. And I just want to sort of start this off. I know I started it by shutting the door and pissing about, but this is the official start now. I want to start this stream by just talking about something with regards to page speed. And it's one of the things that's sort of, for want of a better phrase, pissed me off this week. And it seems to have come out of a frustration. I don't know whether it's because, I don't know, times are hard for businesses, or we might be going into a recession, or the energy crisis, all the fucking wars what are going on, nuclear Armageddon on the precipice of all our lives. But people, all that in sort of perspective, because what I'm going to talk about is people seems to be getting obsessed with sort of a conflation of page speed. It's page speed. People are getting obsessed with the speed of their sites, or at least they have been this week, and it's manifested itself in a couple of ways. Unwarranted in most cases as well. Like, as you know, people who watch these streams and watch my channel, I've got to get my thoughts together, haven't I? Because this is turning into a bit of an incohesive rant. But let me get my thoughts together. This thing about page speed and the conflation with page speed and site speed, and the conflation between technological performance, so page speed performance, and website performance, i.e. conversions. They are linked, but they're not the same thing, first of all. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, so this is what riled me up this week. And funnily enough, it wasn't clients what riled me up this week. It was SEO agencies, SEO people. They've pissed me off this week, and they've pissed me off because I thought this was a thing of the past, and it clearly isn't. And as I said, I don't know if this is just because businesses like SEO agencies are at panic stations, because clients are at panic stations, and clients might be pulling budgets and things. But I don't know if any of you people out there, devs, the community, people who work in agencies, from a dev perspective, have ever received an out of context page speed score. Put your hand up if you received one of them. Well, I got one this week, and as I say, it's 2022, nearly 2023. We all know about page speed. We all know about lighthouse. We all know these things. SEO people know these things, and we know these things. And one of the main things, or the main sort of points of a page speed audit, is context. Without context, it is nothing. Without context, it shouldn't be listened to. And without context, you, SEO people, shouldn't be sending that to your clients as if to say, get your developers to sort this out. Without context. And that's happened this week. And this is continuing to happen. And it's winding me up now, because, and also, a homepage's mobile page speed score on any site, whether it's a Magento, any site, is not indicative of the site's overall health. To do that is to be operating falsely, and I believe you're not fucking stupid. You know what you're doing there. You know that red fucking 23 in a performance score on a homepage, on a mobile, with advanced throttling settings, just as, you know, and also clearing your cache. Don't think I don't know about that trick. Clearing your cache and cookies and then running your audits. I know that you know that that's not right. So can we please stop that? Can we please stop that now? And also, those who live in glass houses should not be throwing fucking page speed audits about. And I'll tell you for why, right? Because I caught one out this week. So an agency, an SEO agency clearly, ran, basically didn't even show the page what it was on, right? So that for me as well, just showing the score, just showing the, as I say, like, I think it wasn't even that bad. It was like a 60 something on a mobile on a homepage on a Magento. Could have been less. Probably was less. Probably was a 40. I'm bigging myself up there, but essentially, not the page, not even saying it's the homepage, making it out as if you get one score for the entire site, which we know is not true. Sending that through as if to say this is the reason why, this is the answer, or this is the culprit for all your problems, Mr. and Mrs. Merchant. And doing that is to start a conflict. Doing that is gonna bring the worst out in the team that you're trying to get it. You're trying to alarm. It's alarmist. You're trying to make the client act on something under false pretenses. For me, with that, because you know what the context is. The client might not know what the context is, but the client needs to be taught what the context is. A conversation needs to happen. You don't just send numbers thrown about. And also, be very careful, because you SEO agencies, we can find out what sites you manage and we can run our own audits. And they better be tip-top. And they're not going to be tip-top. And I know why they're not going to be tip-top, and you know why they're not going to be tip-top. Because I could do the same thing and run a out-of-context page speed audit on a homepage of a site that you SEO agencies are looking after, and I could make it look shit. And I could invariably make it look worse than the site that you're auditing. And you wouldn't do that to your own sites, because you know that that client is entering their own content on those pages that you're auditing, and you are not ultimately in control, just like we are on the sites that you are auditing too. So I got a bit annoyed then. They brought it back to me, but let's be a bit more plain. Let's try and help each other in these difficult times, right? Let's not pit against each other. SEO and dev, we can be one, and we can make things better. We don't need to behave like this. And that's all I'll say on that. But it wound me up this week. So, on that, on page speed, on a more positive note, and the camera I'm going to switch to is not going to show this in its best light, but it's just for test purposes. And I'm going to talk through a few things on this page, which I hope is going to help beginners, as always. Here we go. Let me just check some stuff before I move on to this bit. We are going to look at. Oh, I've got a couple of PM. How much effect in percentage have the page speed on SEO Google site ranking? Right, that's a really good question, Peter. That is a really good question. Thanks for that. I love my people who watch this, don't even know what to call, viewers, because you are all switched on. No matter how early in your Magento journey you all ask the right questions. You all ask really good questions, and that is a great question. And that's a great question to ask and talk about in a room with a client, really, innit? So how much of an effect does it have? Say the word, but the company that is the unappointed sheriff of the internet that does these, that oversees these audits, is would have you believe that all of your conversion woes are going to go away if you get 90 plus 100 lighthouse. It's not true. It's not true. Context is everything. Did a webinar yesterday where a friend of mine, a colleague of mine called Lucas, talked through this from a a UX point of view, I'll probably check that out. It's quite long and boring, to be fair, but skip to the bits with Lucas. And he talks about this really eloquently and really informed. But there might be features on your site which cost page speed, but enhance conversions. So it's not clear cut. They are linked, but it's not clear cut. Now, from what I know, from working with some very good SEO agencies, I know I just had a big fucking go at SEO agencies. It's not, obviously, I'm not talking about everybody. I work with a lot of good ones, really good ones. And for what I've been told, or reliably informed, is it's a tiebreaker. On-page SEO is still the deal breaker, is still the main thing you should concentrate on. Your on-page SEO scores, the strategy that goes in with this, the strategy that goes beyond what you put on page, keyword, domain authority, all the backlinks, all of those things are still more important than page speed. Even though in our tiny little developer world, I get obsessed with making things. It's because they've put a number to it. My personality is, if there's 100 to achieve, I want to achieve 100. Like, it's like they've set a challenge, right? But why not strive for the best? That's one of the things that I would say. So how much it's a tiebreaker, Peter Evan, and so you've got two sites with identical scores. However, the sort of sheriff of the internet rates your two sites. They're both in its big god hands, and they say and they're identical. Then a site, or reliably informed, a site with a 90 is going to beat a site with an 89, and they're going to go top of Google. That's how I'm told it works. But the truth is, nobody really knows, do they? Nobody really knows. So all you've got to do, like in life, is blandly follow the rules and try and get 100. So let's try and do that now, or let's try and find a really let's find a different way of looking at it for this product page. Let's find out what's important, because again, Lucas mentioned it yesterday. He used a really good term to describe it, but these page speed excuse me, these metrics here are weighted, and some of them are more important than others. And the one I'm going to talk about on this page today, and I hate running these when I'm streaming because they do not always come out great, so I'm just going to run a quick one now. I have got this site in production mode. It is on my local host, so there's a lot of gzipping that ain't been done. Right, 55. So we're not fantastic here, and the problems are always on this page. Largest content paint, but the one with the most weight is cumulative layout shift. Cumulative layout shift is probably as well the one that I would say, because it's so well weighted, concentrate on that one first if you want to resolve this. One of the things I will say is you've got to run these audits. This is another thing as well. You've got to run 2 or 3 of these audits, and you've got to prime the cache as well. Like, I've picked a bit of a dud product here to run this audit on, because look at all these extra images I'm loading at the bottom here. If I could get this one's only got 2, so let's see how long this one comes out. And now I've almost, because I've switched between page context there, I've gone from one product page to another product page, and I've got my caches on. If I run this one, fingers crossed, it's likely to just be better. So you've got to take an average. This has got to be part of, this can't be a report. This cannot be a report that you send and say, report, even with context. This has got to be you in the room. There's something negatively affecting the performance of this, and I believe it is the fact that I'm live streaming. But let's try an incognito one. The other thing to do is test these with incognito as well. That's another good technique. Before I came online, I was getting more realistic Luma themes. It was like 60, 70. But the score isn't important here, actually. What's important is how we take steps to improve it. So if I just jump onto here, this one. By the way, these pages by default on desktop are banging. They're right up there anyway. So that does tell you, is the cumulative layout shift on a mobile that is the problem. And as soon as I can get a relatively realistic report ran, right, we'll go with 52. We'll see what we can do. It's cumulative layout shift. So if you click on this little button here, it tells you, look. And look, these are your problems here, look. Look at all these things that it's saying are shifting as the page loads. I wonder if I can make this a bit bigger. Yeah, make that a bit bigger there. So you've got the whole right-hand side, or the whole sort of thing going on here, the whole controls thing, the cart button, these things here, the details. So, and I sort of was experimenting with a JavaScript framework, Svelte, in a couple of my other live streams, probably a video and a live stream I did on this page where I was trying to rebuild it, and I got so far with that, and then it felt as if I was almost robbing Peter to pay Paul, in terms of I was decreasing the page speed, the impact on certain things, and then increasing the impact on other things. So I kept to and fro, and I thought I'm going to leave that for a bit. I'm going to go back to just looking at Luma theme on its own. But anyway, these layout shifts, and one of the main things what you can do in these pages to get these better, let's just run a desktop one. To get these working better is change the gallery. The gallery is a bit of a nightmare for layout shift on this, because you can see it loads in via JavaScript. It's using something called Photorama, and it loads in via JavaScript. So that's a desktop one. It loads in via JavaScript, and it loads in late, and it also, by default, and I couldn't find a way to do it easily, it doesn't have the option of getting width and height tags on the image tags, which are massive in these scores now. And I think it's only since like August this year that cumulative layout shift has had such a weighting. So what I did was I had a look at it. I had a look at what we could do for the gallery. Let's start on the gallery. As we've sort of established here, with regards to cumulative layout shift, which is probably one of the first things you want to tackle. And I just want to make sure that my caches are all on and everything. I think they are. The main thing you want to tackle is cumulative layout shift. Saying, look, these bits are Photorama, but I was getting different results before where it was coming up with the image. But I'm going to show you something. And a way to... Obviously, this isn't a plugin, or it's not an answer. I'm not going to be able to put it in a little package and say, just download this and load it onto your store and all your problems are going to go away. Well, not yet anyway. We might get to that point. But what I started doing was, and now, yes, everyone, we are finally getting into the code. So what I did was, I thought, let's have a look at the gallery. Let's have a look at what's doing it, what's serving it. So as always, we'll talk about the working out. So essentially, this page here is your entry point for the JavaScript of the gallery. I'll just make this a bit bigger as well. And as you can see, what it's doing here is it's getting some stuff. It's getting the gallery images. It's getting a really useful array here, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's passing it all through these script tags, and it's passing it all to the gallery JS, and then and then we're mixing in magnify and passing all the gallery images as JSON, and we're banging all this into this gallery, which is like a JavaScript gallery. And now we know there are loads of JavaScript galleries out there. So I experimented with one that sort of already exists in Magento anyway, which is Slick Slider. Probably not the best one. I'd probably go for something like Swiper or something like that. You can get better UIs, I think, with that type of thing, and you've got a hell of a lot more control. The reason I like Slicker is because I knew that you could get, and I'll just minimise that for a second. I'm fully in control of my system, aren't I? I knew we could get this layout, which is similar to the one that we're sort of using, you know, where you've got like a nav, a gallery nav, and a gallery, because we don't necessarily want to lose all that functionality. And this is a good starting point. We could throw Slicker in. And it's probably useful in terms of learning how this works for me to show you how to throw Slicker in, and then you can sort of take it from there and get a feel for it. Now, this all depends on, as well, how your gallery has been sort of envisaged and designed with your designer and the client and all that type of stuff, because there might be a case that you might run a site where you only have one image on every product, so therefore you don't need a gallery, and there's much more efficient ways of getting them images on the page. So this is it. It's more of a sort of a conversation about how we can affect this area rather than a sort of a silver bullet. I ain't got a silver bullet for you. Sorry to disappoint. But right, so this is the page here, and it's in module, catalog, view, front end, view, gallery. So if we want to extend this, it's a real easy thing to do in your theme, because all we're going to do is create it at the same location in the theme, and then it's going to pick up our new one. So if we use, and I already made the folder path, so templates, so module catalog, like I was saying, templates, product, view, gallery.html. So we can prove that this works by just bunging something in and just refreshing it. There we go. Now I've taken over that block altogether. Okay. And then let's have a look at what this actually has, because it's got some useful stuff that we can use to build our own gallery, or at least test it if there's a different way and if it has any effect. Because again, for me as well, there's no point in rebuilding something if you're not going to improve it in any way. You know what I mean? If you just cause the same problems in cumulative layout shift, for example, or your load times go up, or Slicker's just inherently more clunky or something like that, there's no point in doing it. But what there is a point in always doing, I think, is just testing the water, just checking and going, is this going to be excuse me, is there a viable solution in there somewhere, is what I'm trying to say. So let's have a quick look at something here. Now we're getting main image, which is a useful thing to start this testing process off with. Now, one of my feelings was that because there was no width and height tags, we was losing out somehow in cumulative layout shift score. So we can test that quite easily, and it's a bit of a cheat, but it's one of them things where we relax the problem really, and then build up to it. So we're gonna get the main image, and we're gonna add that just to its own image tag, and we're gonna test out whether it makes an improvement removing the gallery and still adding a product image. Yeah, we haven't got the little thumbnails on there yet, but they're not going to have that much of an impact once we do get them on there, and there's different ways we can save them. So, and I know, and also we want to be going and getting the, there is a way to go and get the width and heights of all your images, you know, from your view XML, because we do know, don't know if I've got it in this theme, but you know, you have a view XML where you specify the widths and heights of all your images on the site, and then that's what builds the cache of the images. But I'm just going to manually put them in because I know that the 700 by 700 there. Right, so we're just going to main image. We're just going to see if this just puts an image on the page. No, I've screwed up. Sorry guys. When I'm doing a live stream, don't get Richie and Eddie. What have I done? Where's my main image? Main image is getting it from the block in it. Main image. What have I done wrong? Main image. Yeah, it's main image. Right, let's just make sure I'm getting the right thing here. So let's just see if I can echo main image. It should give me a URL. Yeah, should give me a URL. Might be because I need to just flush the cache. What have I done? How have I managed to break it already? Let's just remove this. Right, it's back. Okay, so how did I break that then? Right, let's just have a quick look at what I'm getting from here. So I can get all the images, that's good. Just see if I can get main image from gallery images, main item. That's what I wanted to get there. Let's just see if I can just bung this back in. I must have copied and pasted something wrong. Right, the gallery should come back now, because all I've done is replicated it. Yeah, right, okay. Let's strip it back from there then. So we'll just remove this stuff, and then echo main image. Right, it's doing that for me. let's just have a look at, could it be main image data? Well, there's another way we can do it. Could have sworn I was able to get main image from there. But there isn't, there is another way we can do it. We can actually loop through the images. You know, if we're talking about maybe eventually putting another gallery in, which isn't what I wanted to do. Let me just put this in developer mode because I could be shooting myself in the foot here. So just while I'm doing this, I'm just going to bang this in developer mode. For me, I can do yarn developer, just so I can get an error. It should give me an error. And I'm also going to make sure that setting caches are switched off, because that can also be, so we'll switch these off. I thought I was being cocky. I thought I'll be able to do this in production mode, it'll be no bother. But I've been shown up there, haven't I? And then we'll do yarn flush and just give the caches a kick, give everything a kick, and just see if I get an error. Let this load. Yeah, so it's legit then. It don't like me going and getting that. But what we can do is we can loop through these images. We can loop through them by getting this array here. Let's just try this array out. So if we do, I want to look what's in this array as well. So one of the easiest ways to do it, I know there's tools out there that are better than this method, but this is a good one for streaming because I'll see it on the we'll all see it on the screen. Print R, and we'll just print out images. Because this is really the image. This is really the array that we'll be using. I've got a feeling it might be this one that's kicking off. Let's just see. Come on, what's in the array? Because we can use these images. Let's just get rid of this. So we're getting images from the block. Images from the block. Could not be converted to string. Oh. I think it's this. Let's just remove some of this stuff until it works here. Trial and error. Nope. Oh, is it? Am I in the wrong file here? Idiot. Right then, so what we got here, we've got an array that's useful. So we're able to get from this array, we're able to get just the unfettered URL there. We're able to get the small image, the medium image, and the large image. So those three images there are all we need, cached as well, cached image URL, are all we need to build a brand new gallery, aren't they? Because we've got a thumbnail image, which is the small one, for down at the bottom for the navigation. We've got a medium image, which arguably is the one that we're going to show, could show on page load, you know, show in the slider. Then we've got a large image for any zoom functionality we want to add to it. So we've got everything in there. And just to recap, because I know that was an absolute car crash of a sort of explanation, and what I did there was break everything. But so basically we're getting images from the gallery images block, and that's giving us that array, and that's what I'm printing out there. But there was the main image, as I was saying before. Let me see if I can get this main image now, because I should print it. Surely we can get the main image. Yeah, so here's the main image, look. So that's the first one. So why do you need that? Well, one thing you could do is you could load the one image first as a data image, even anything that's going to bypass the page speed test, and so it tests it with just one image on there, and then load everything else in retrospect, which would be a good way of sort of limiting page load. So that and there, if I just So if I want to get the main image from this, how could I get that main image? Well, I could. Let's try this. Let's try this because we've just seen what we're able to get. So if I do IMG, because I want to just test it with just one image there to sort of like simulate what we might do. It's like you know, before we go to the trouble of doing all the work to build a new and then it was in so main image is the first object essentially of images. Look, main image is the first one, first item. Look, so it's basically the same as the gallery, but just one of them. We're filtering out the first one. So large image now. We'll go medium image URL. Right. We can bang that in there. So we should be getting that now. We're just going to output that to the page. Hey, there we go. Right, so that's what I wanted to do before, but it obviously completely escaped me. So that loaded quite quick. Right, the other thing I'm going to add to it now is I'm going to add width and height tags. And I did this on when I was talking about the home page as well. It made a massive difference to the page builder to add an image. I've got another video, another tutorial on my channel about adding an extra field into the page builder image element to give it height and width, because it made a massive difference to page speed just having it present. Even if like 700 is massive for a mobile, but just the presence of it seems to negate any heavy images, or it seems to just do a lot better. Let's just do a quick test now. Do you know what? I'm going to be generous, and for my own sanity, I'm going to add 10 points onto whatever this comes out at, because when I'm streaming, I think it does take a lot of beef out of my out of my system. Well, we can see it's improved things. It's not necessarily improved cumulative layout shift though, which is the one I was after. Oh, I'm in developer mode now, aren't I? Right then, so you want to be doing these tests. So we'll do yarn, and I've switched caches off. Do you know what? I'm not going to go to production mode, not yet. I'm going to just turn the caches back on first. Right, I'm going to do that first because then it's more realistic. You see, it loads really quick, like to the human eye, it loads really quick. See what this does with a bit on. It's always good to test these different. It just takes time, doesn't it, to learn this, to kind of learn what to test it, to see what happens, to change it. You've got to also rely on your results as well. It's gone down. Enabling the cache has gone down. Brilliant. Right, let me just switch to another product because we might get. You've got to test a few different scenarios for me. I mean, you can visibly see that it isn't hanging around as long loading one image compared to loading a full slider of many images. .68. They're all over the shop, but I'm getting this warning, aren't I? I'm getting this warning, and it's saying try and do it without extensions, and it's really annoying that when I go live this happens. Really annoying. I'm going to run a incognito one. Just to get rid of that daft error at the top of page speed. While that's running, I'll just have a quick look on the main image variable is a return an array, or the main image variable is a return of an array. I think that's what he was trying to say. Yeah, and I was trying to output it as a string. Yeah, that's right. You know, right, 72. So that's it's complaining now mainly about JavaScript, and that's probably because we're not in production mode. But let's just have a look at cumulative layout shift. So there's only these two things now on cumulative layout shift, where there was like 4 before, and I think everything was getting knocked down because of the images, or there was definitely an issue there because of the images. So I'm just gonna quickly put it in production mode as well. because that'll minify everything. And in fact, I've found merging CSS is really good. I've done some testing on that, like the difference between minifying CSS and merging CSS, just to get rid of the unused, well, to minimise the unused CSS thing. Because it seemed to me that the unused CSS, you know, where styles M was kind of coming up as unused on a mobile, and you get that a lot in your scores, or in the breakdown of your scores. By merging it all together, you still get the problem, but there's less files in it. So there isn't like your CSS file, a plugin CSS file, then styles M, and merging it all. It's almost like just having the one, even though it comes up and there's like a few kilobytes of unused CSS in there. It's all minified and merged. Seems to be more receptive to the Lighthouse. Lighthouse seems to be more receptive to that. So I would advise doing that. I would advise merging your CSS. I'm not sure if I've advised that before, because I think I was on the fence about it. So this is just outputting one smaller image, and you'd expect it to be better. A lot better. Still running. Come on, static content. Any questions while I'm waiting for this? I don't know what it's doing. Nope. How long have we been going? 38 minutes. 38 minutes of this. God. Well, production mode's having a bit of a fit in it. Deploying static content is really having a problem with. Let's deploy static content. So we could do bit of magento, static, deploy, sorry, static hyphen content. I've had a mind blank. Deploy static content. No, setup static content deploy. God. Honestly, I do know what I'm doing. I really do. I really do. It just don't come across that way. Right, let's see if we, and then see if it'll do. Just to remove maintenance, to be fair. Yeah, no. Come on, maintenance mode. Come on, static content deploy. Really is on a go slow. I wonder what else I've got. I ain't got anything else running other than my stream. This is the problem that you get. What else did I want to talk about while this is all running through? Can't remember what it was. I'm just going to have to wait for it. Yeah, so yeah, cumulative layout shift. So yeah, like I say, we can. I mean, there's loads of possibilities in terms of building your own galleries. I mean, it's such a simple thing. And I'll tell you what, I'll talk you through putting Slicker in while I'm waiting for this, because I have got it on I've got it on my notes here. So I'll just bring this across while it's doing its thing, and hopefully it'll eventually get through it all. So in terms of bringing Slicker into this file, it's any other JavaScript framework, to be honest, it's dead simple to do. You could just use require.js, and all you need to do, and this is a version that I've sort of done. So all I'm doing here is, and this is the only thing I don't feel great about is, and it's only on this implementation because we can improve on this. We can definitely improve on this. But to get it in there, you've got require.js. You do obviously require, jQuery is $, and then download the minified version of Slick and put that in your theme under your like JS. So I've put it in here, web, JS, and then I've just got Slick in there. And then you can directly access it in the template. So what I'm doing in the template here is I am using the slider 4 and the slider nav, which is this little feature on Slicker there, slider 4 and slider nav look. So it's this in. And it basically simulates a gallery with thumbs. Is it still going, that? But what you can do once it's... there we go. We're alright, we're done. What you can do basically is you can then use a lazy load function, which is quite handy, which means that even though we're doing the work here... Where is it? Oh, I've lost my screens, right. Even though we're doing the work here of looping through the images twice, the medium ones and the small ones, because we've sort of got to put them out onto the page. Well, we don't have to, but we're doing this implementation. It's the most simple implementation. Is you can then lazy load the top ones, the bigger ones, so it only loads into an image source tag the medium image of the first one. So it kind of, and then not until you swipe it or click to change it does the other one load in. So then for the page speed, it's only loading that one image. It only knows about that one image in a source tag. So it is handy. Right then, how come it hadn't come out of maintenance mode, people? Because it told me it had. It told me it had come out of maintenance mode. Didn't it? And it hasn't. Let's move this to one side. Move this one back in. Why is skipping disabling maintenance mode? What's that about? Right then, so let's disable maintenance mode. Right, so you do how do you disable maintenance mode, Adam? Not something I do often. Did I have it in my little notes pad? My useful notepad? No. Need to disable maintenance mode. Ashu, you can set them up to... Oh yeah, we've got some questions going on. So what does disable admin side? Do that. User can add more than one product in their cart. What to disable? I'm not sure what that means, mate. Might come back to that, but I'm having trouble myself here disabling a maintenance mode. Let's just Google it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, and it's embarrassing when I start typing it out and it's wrong. Ah, there we are. I was looking for the maintenance flag, but we'll just do that. Just do that. Right, that wasn't so hard, was it? Just search for it. Right then, let's have a quick look. Now, see if for any sort of miracle we get a different report back. Right, 74. So it's still hanging around the 70s, and it's still saying that we're getting these issues running it. But it's these that have gone up basically. But cumulative layout shifts actually come down. It's now an amber, which is what I was after doing. So that's been minified. See the CSS all merged. So you've only got one, and it's 600 milliseconds. Let's face it, you know, you have to have some CSS. So we're never going to eradicate it all. Cumulative layout shift, have we got anything for that? Large layout shifts, yeah, it's these ones. Let's just prime this cache up a little bit. Let's just have a click around on the site. Let's try it on this page. Let's run a desktop one, see if we have any the same trouble. Because this obviously will also improve your desktop ones. Thanks, Peter, for answering that. What a nice guy. I like Peter. I like Ashu as well. Yeah, obviously we're killing it on desktop, as always. We're absolutely smashing it. But, obviously the whole thing shifts on desktop and it don't give a shit. These reports, man, these runs, they're so inconsistent for me. Like, why on a desktop? Maybe because, obviously, it's testing mobile on a throttled connection on like a 3-4G connection where that layout shift is going to be more obvious to the user. And yeah, it's a user interface thing, this, it really is. What extensions have I got running that are going to affect this? I do not know, because I won't get in this before. I'm going to have one more test on this, and then I'm going to move on. Let's run this test, and then I'm going to talk about getting in. I wanted a realistic one because I wanted to show you the difference between having it with the image tags on the thumbs as well. 81. Right, so it's looking a bit better each time. Now, it's trying to sort itself out. Let's just clear cache storage and run one more. Untick clear storage and run one more. Yeah, the incognito ones are definitely better. Definitely more realistic. Okay, so we're up to an 83 on a mobile, just by dealing with the images in terms of, obviously I'm fully aware we're not I'm not putting many images to a screen here, so I'm cheating, aren't I? But I just wanted to sort of you got to start from somewhere and then build up, because you don't want to be doing work that you don't need to do. So yeah, you're pointing out something really really salient there, Gulam M. Looking forward to achieve the colour-based image display. Yeah. That's I'm not thinking about that right at this minute, am I? But it's not going to be that difficult though, is it? You're going to have to, trust me, this is going to cost you some hours. You're going to have to do some work on this. I don't know why my CSS is all to cock as well. But yeah, it's going to cost you some work. It's going to cost you some hours. But the rewards are going to be so sweet when you get into the 90s. They really are. Is there going to be another part of it? Well, yeah, this is it. I'm not going to do it for you because, let's face it, as I've sort of pointed out on this, as has become very apparent on this stream, I know nothing. But what we're going to have here is a situation where you're starting from somewhere. You've got somewhere to start from. It's all JavaScript in terms of being able to get these things linking up, because each of these things has an ID. And you can get to all this stuff on click, and then you can affect your gallery on click. You could use, there's so many different ways you can do it. Look, you'd use option ID, and then you can get to an image that also has the option ID, and you can get to that information. Look, when I was printing out, the key to it all is in this images array. But I'm just wanting to show you on this stream. Obviously, I've only got an hour, and I spend a lot of time rambling on, but there we go. So this is with a slicker gallery. So I've basically just changed the gallery with a few lines of code in here to be able to show lazy loading images and get it linking with a navigation. Obviously, there's loads of work that you still need to do, but it essentially works. Let's just jump onto the incognito one. I could, do you know what? I'd probably, if I thought about it and put a tutorial together of this whole thing. The point of these live streams for me is because, one, it puts me under pressure to do the right thing when I'm talking about these things, and two, it gives me the space to be able to just say, look, this is a live stream, and I'm just going to have a little sort of ramble in the countryside in terms of, let's look at a few things in Magento, let's get some feedback from you guys in the chat, which you have done today, which is amazing, and let's just like inspire ourselves. It inspires me, because the things that come out of this, I think I've got to do a video about this, a better video, you know, and actually put something substantial together. The live streams are like they're like a bit of sparring. They're like sparring. It's not proper training, but you're bobbing your head about and someone's trying to punch you in the face. That's how I feel like when I'm on these live streams, and it keeps you honest. So the let's run one with a slicker slider and see what damage it does, because obviously I was slagging off the Photorama one, but I don't think it has the same layout shift effect because it's the other one blocked in, doof, doof, doof. This one sort of fades in. It's got to be better. Look at cumulative layout shift now. What have I broke? What have I done? Yeah, well, it don't like the thumbs, and that was similar to it not liking the dots on the other one on mobile. And in fact, actually, on a mobile, let's take away the thumbs, and we can do this in Slick because it has a responsive. This website hasn't changed since 2010, has it? Where's the responsive display? Right, so we could say anything less on this guy, on this one here. This might help us out in terms of that cumulative layout shift penalty, penalising us for it. Did I not get that last time? Let's get rid of that. Sure there was a... There we go. Yeah, it's an array, wasn't it? So less than... We'll get rid of these breakpoints because we don't need these. So we've got responsive. Let's make this such readable. Right, let's get rid of that one for now. And we'll just say like less than 600 is probably the best one to go for to try and catch this. And what we'll do is we'll I wonder if we can remove it. Can we remove it? Oh, well, I have to do it in CSS. How do I remove? I can get rid of the dots. Didn't like the dots. There must be a way to get rid of the images. Destroy maybe. Was a destroy. Unslick. Can you do that at a different viewport? That looks too complex for this. Let's just have a look. It might have to be. There must be more settings. Remove images. Must be more settings. Unslick looks like what we might have to do. Obviously, you could write something that detects the viewport, the window. I wonder if we could do like, we could keep that. Just keep that for now. I wonder if in here we could do a window width. Window width. Let's just grab something off Google. So we'll do window width. We can get this in jQuery, can't we? Window width, jQuery. That'll be the best way to go. Window width, jQuery. Yeah, it's dot width in it. Look, this one. This'll do. This'll do. So for less than 960, we're gonna say actually, yeah, less than 960. Could actually remove. Well, it's destroy, wasn't it? It was destroy what I was going to do. So we'll say unslick, and then the slider nav. See if this works. Might not work. So this is hopefully going to affect the page speed just on a mobile link. Let's bung this in here. Where's my... Oh, I messed this. There we go. Let's have a go with this. It's unslicked it, but look, it's just fucking unslicked it. It's not like got rid of it thought there was like a way you could remove, like kill the slider and stuff. But obviously, I'm outputting things to the page, aren't I? Yeah, we do need to do something about that on a mobile. There's got to be a way of removing the images and just showing the not showing the thumbs basically on a mobile. Let's just try and run one again. Peter, good message from Peter here. And in your live stream, everyone can see how developing is happening real. You can be the best dev in the world, but you are facing real quick to a Magento error page. Well, yeah, this is it. Well, I think what you're trying to say there is you can be the best developer in the world on YouTube when you've got an editing tool. But yeah, this is match check media in Require.js. Love that suggestion, Dean. Look, this is it. Look, this is ace. This is what you lot are the best. You go do. Just be better than I am. Just go and be better than I am. That's all. That's the whole point. Brilliant. I love it. But we could all get around this, can't we? This is how it is. This is what real web development is. It's me googling shit and just sticking it in the right places and try and see what else we can get out of it now. And then you gain your experience as you're going along. And in terms of calculating your page speeds, this has been a disaster because not once have I got anything near what my... Obviously, before I started this video, my whole point was, I tell you what, we can get right up there, like 97, 98, by changing the gallery. And what has it proven? It's proven that as soon as you've got something else running on your server, which is essentially, for me, it's streaming, but on other people's real sites, it's visitors, these things aren't reliable. These things are not reliable at all. They're there to just point us in the right direction, which I think brings us back beautifully to the beginning of the video when people are using these page speed scores as blunt objects to get work. And I think if anyone's going to take anything from this video, and I don't think many people will take much because it has been an absolute skip fire of things going wrong, but to take from it is, do not rely on page speed scores to tell a story about how good your work is, your website is. Excel sheet for tax rates, actually, that's a good one. I do need to talk about tax rates in Magento, particularly UK tax rates are always eluding people, merchants particularly. But yeah, so page speed scores are unreliable. So good ones are unreliable and bad ones are unreliable. It's all about context. It's all about how fast your server is. Is it caching properly? Have you got varnish on? Have you got ready? All these things affect how quickly your site loads, and therefore these two. One thing to learn though from it, if you're going to take anything sort of semi-factual away, well, basically what I'm sort of saying here is feel free to experiment removing the gallery and building your own back in, because I'm gonna try and do this better, and I'm gonna come back to you all with a good video on changing the gallery, maybe not to slick, because I think that unslick thing pissed me off. I'm not going to use slick. I'm going to try with swiper. Have a look at swiper, jump in, set yourself an install up and do what I've done, remove it all and start from where I started and see how far you can sort of get with it. I'd be really interested to see people's efforts. So in the next live stream I do, maybe next week, you can bang your GitHubs in repositories in the chat and see if we've got anything else to talk about. That'd be amazing if I had that type of sort of collaboration with you people. It's one of the best videos for chat. You've been absolutely brilliant. So yeah, it's pissed me off. I will use Swiper and I'm going to see if I can make the gallery better. And come back to you with real world working out, and also getting your images to change based on colour as well, because that's the next task. And I know it is possible. I know it is possible because all the information is there. These are your friends in this journey as well. This images block from Get Gallery Images, you can get pretty much everything. Bear in mind that you're going to need your image tags. You know, you're going to need these image tags with width and height. But yeah, that's the thing to take away from this, is that cumulative layout shift and largest content paintfall are really weighted heavily with regards to your mobile page speed scores, regardless of what you're getting. Tell you what, I'll be stopping this stream and I better run it again and I better get in the 90s. So it's just sod's law, as we would say in the north of England. Thank you all for watching. You've been absolutely brilliant. I will read through these comments in a bit more detail and see what I can assimilate from them and put something else together. But like I always say, if you like it, give us a like. And you obviously whack comments on there. This video will stay on my channel, obviously. Send it round as a sort of a meme of this is what real life web development is. And I'm glad I've been able to share this experience with you all. And have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.